Hey everybody, we're back. Majora's Mask on the Thursday night stream. You mean the game audio or my audio? Because my mic wasn't turned on yet. How you doing, Bane? We're gonna... Yeah, the original moon face is the better moon face. It's the thing I said with, Majora's Mask 3D changing the moon face isn't... Take that off. Isn't a good idea, and Smash Ultimate proved that it wasn't due to the better graphical quality on the 3DS. Because, like, Smash Ultimate comes along with Termina Bay with the moon in the background again, and it looks great. Oh, you meant the mic. Alright. No, I just hadn't turned the mic on yet. I'm not doing too bad. Been a decent enough day. Spent most of it just rendering. Everything, all the rendering takes so long. Now, if a part goes over 20 minutes, we're looking at over an hour to render it. Yeah, that's fun. Alright, now, we are going to aim to finish the game today. And there are several things we will need because we are going to be heading into the well. And there's a bunch of stuff we need. So what we're going to do is get prepped. A few things. Where do I get a fish from? There's gotta be a place for it. Not you. Are you open yet? Yes, you are. Awesome. So yeah, we're going to aim to finish this today. We have Beneath the Well to do, then straight into Ikana Castle, then we're going to go for Stone Tower, and then we're going to have done all 4 dungeons and we'll be able to go and fight the Soul Kid. Okay, I'll take one of these, thank you. Slow down time, we'll try and get this all in one cycle. Want some milk. Which, if I remember rightly, I think the opponent's song still works in Majora's Mask. We will need to find a cow, though. Need a fish, need some Deku nuts. Maybe through here. Well, you say that. Ocarina we had done in 4 streams. This is actually our 5th Majora's Mask stream. So we have actually taken longer with Majora's Mask. I think we can get a fish here. I mean, if you're just going straight ahead to finish Majora's Mask, it is short because it's 4 dungeons, but overall it can take longer. Although part of that can be down to the waiting around that you have to do. Which again, there's one thing I'll give to the 3DS version, it cut that down. Yeah, we have been focusing on Majora's Mask for the most part, but we did break it up a couple of times. We did the Persona 5 stream, we started Metroid Prime last time. So we have broken it up a couple of times, though only a couple of times. Is there a fish here? No. Where the hell do I get a fish in this game? And with milk, I'll need a cow. Either need to get a cow or I'll have to wait until the milk bar opens at 10 PM. Well, it's one of those things, I don't like the 3DS version. It took me a while to admit it to myself. I don't like the 3DS version of this game. It changes a lot of stuff for the worse, for no real reason. But there are points I have to give it. Otherwise, I'm really just nostalgia complaining, really, because it's not the original. There are points where it's weaker. There's a couple of points where it is actually stronger. Ain't no Pokemon on this stream. We need magic beans anyway. And I know where we can get some magic beans. Take care of you. I want some Deku nuts. Grab you just in case. I have had trouble with the boss of Ikana Castle before. Really, that was one Deku nut? It's noisy when I do it, but being able to pull off the spin slash like that is just really convenient. Do me a great deal. I'm sorry, I've got my magic bean man here. racism. I'll have you shut down for not selling to anyone other than Deku Scrubs. Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of things the 3DS version makes worse, like the bosses are all worse on the 3DS version. Especially the boss of Stone Tower, which we'll get to. The swimming is worse. The Deku Scrub hopping along the water mechanic is worse. They've weakened that. But the Song of Double Time, they changed it so you can go to any hour in particular that you want, which is really good because it makes it only 6 AM and 6 PM. Okay, that should be all the beans that I need. That is 5 beans. Awesome. Now I need a fish. I need some milk. Bombs and Deku nuts I can get on the way. That's not what I'm after. No, I don't want them. I don't want the water, I want the fish. Deku nut. That is... again, just one. Jeez. Damn it. Well, that just means Zasta isn't as good as you expect it to be. Let me try somewhere that isn't. That's a shooting range. Somewhere that isn't a spring water. Yes! Tricked them. Made them think I was going to go elsewhere. Okay, now the most likely location to find a cow is going to be in a hole. Arrows are always appreciated. In the eventual LP, this is all going to be stuff that's cut out. There's going to be so much editing in the LP of this. Is there a hole nearby? You're not a hole. Yeah. If you kill a Deku Baba while it's upright, you'll get a Deku stick out of it. If you kill it in a different position, you'll always get Deku nuts. Always to do with money, you never know. Okay, I'm hearing a cow, but I'm not seeing a hole. I think I remember where the hole is, actually. There we go. ladies. So if you play a Pona song in front of cows, they will give you a bottle of milk. Go. Oh, there's bombs there. There we go. How many bombs is that? 5. I need more. More bombs. That should be 10. Okay. So all I need now is the Deku nuts. Nope, it's just standard, regular milk. In Ocarina of Time, it's Long milk. Doesn't matter where you get it from, even in Ocarina of Time, all the milk in Hyrule comes from Long Ranch cows. You know what? I can probably buy some Deku nuts from the shop, and that'll just make things simple for me. So all the milk in Ocarina is Long milk. In this, it's just milk. Yeah, with any luck, we will get the game done today, and we will get it done in one cycle. Yo!
Hi!
I want some nuts. I'm gonna love the nuts. So that should be everything. And now we can head to Ikana Canyon and get started. And the whole trick of this is, beneath the well is a maze, and doors will only open if you give Gibdos the right item. So we're going to have the Gibdo mask ready. And the interesting thing with the Gibdo mask is you are able to speak to the Gibdos. Alright, come over here and we'll talk to the Gibdo. So speaking to them really just brings the idea that can I get you? Speaking to the Gibdos out here heavily suggests they're trying to get the father inside who is turning into a Gibdo. Hey, into the well. Let's do this. So yeah, huge maze complex. Alright, so we speak to this guy. Something delicious that sprouts when it's watered, preferably 5 of them. Beans. Opens the door. Ice keys. Okay, so not that one. Ah, crap, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't hear the noise that signifies the War Master. There it is. First time in years a War Master's gotten me in a 3D Zelda game. Okay. Something that makes a blinding flash, preferably 10 of them. Okay, here we go. Fire keys aren't as much of an issue in this game as they were in Ocarina. The issue with them in Ocarina was that you could have a wooden shield. Well, you say thing, I say things, evil grandparent. Okay, so we want this guy. 10 refreshing blasts. 10 bombs. Okay. Now, let me see this. Bam, and also bam. A big poke. And the big Poe is ready to fight again. Speaking of grandparents, I ended up seeing something of Adam's Family Reunion the other day. Oh, that movie. There we go. So now we catch this in a bottle. Because we need this. It's weird that they're spinning in this game. Okay, you... deliciously fresh, you want the fish. Or is it the milk you want? Yeah, it's the fish. Alright. Get some of this. Grab you. Get some of this. You want the big Poe. Okay, go through here. Oh wow, that doesn't look friendly. Oh jeez. Get out of here, you. Well, that happened. Go. Oh. Yeah, let's try this better this time. There we go. Come on. Get out of here. Thank you. And you want something rich in calcium. Wonder what that is. Alright. Now let's make this simpler. And also throw the bunny hood on. Two, three, four. There we go. Now this is going to be fun. The mirror shield, which has a unique design in this game. And you're automatically switched to the mirror shield. Unlike Ocarina of Time, you don't get to actually choose your equipment. There we go. Yeah, let's get out of here. And actually out into Ikana Castle. So Ikana Castle is another kind of mini dungeon like the Gerudo Fortress. Quick, shine the horrified scream signal, I guess, I don't know. So Ikana Castle is kind of like the Gerudo Pirate Fortress, except this is much more reminiscent of an actual dungeon. Whereas the Pirate Fortress was its own thing. Let's do this. I have an idea of what that's going to be. Hey. What up, Garo? Alright, what info you got for me? Cool. Another secret route apart from the well entrance. That's basically, I'm pretty sure it's that. So that you can get back in without doing that crap in the well again. And let's be fair, it is crap in the well. Alright, what have you got? Well, that's just a hint towards a fun Easter egg. I did not know you could roll through those and actually destroy them. Is the main door open? Overcomplicating this, aren't I? Yeah, the main door's just open. I thought I'd have to get in through a side route. You wear one of 3 masks and that gets these guys to dance. It's the Garo's mask, the Captain's hat, or the Gibdo's mask. Right, which way do we go? Goddamn floor masters. There we go. They can dance if they want to, I'm not going to judge them. It's a good thing I'm just not their friend. No, it doesn't light up if I shoot a fire arrow at it. I think it will if I shoot a light arrow, but I don't have those yet. Other way, I guess? Wonderful. Alright, let's go. Keeping stocked up on magic is a good idea. The other owl statue of Ikana Valley is... The other owl statue of Ikana Valley is up near the stone tower. So what we'll do is, depending on what time we get out of here, we will either go straight to Stone Tower to get that owl statue, or we'll head back to Clock Town to get some Chateau Romani. Alright, that's fair enough. Probably won't have really gotten anywhere by the time you get back. Just hit each other. Alright, going down. Aha, you missed. Sucker. Ooh, another fairy. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Let's get the hook shot back. Yay. Another fairy. Get that. There we go. Stone Tower is one of the trickiest dungeons in the 3D games. Having some fairies is not a bad idea. There we go. And now use the bow, because getting rid of these guys is going to be worth it. Up and down. Up and at them. Up and at them. Okay, I want to go over there. Because I need to get back over there. Yeah. The question becomes, how do we get back over here without falling down? Door. Maybe with the bunny hood I can make the distance. Nice. Spin. Jump. But yeah, die! Hate those things. Up the stairs. Give me something I want. Where did you come from? Oh, they respawn. Don't run with your sword out, Link. Put the Garrow's mask back on. There you are. Info. Counter the rage of a king of the Ikana castle. Yeah, okay. Ah, it's cool. Welcome back, mate. So, to counter the rage of the king, shine the light on him. But, with how the arena is laid out and how the fight begins, it's kind of obvious. Do I want to risk this for the piece of heart? You know what? No, because I have no way of getting back. I don't want to do downstairs again. There is a switch. Someone wants to play. Yeah, nothing in particular. We made it through that room that we were in with the pit. And beyond that was a set of stairs that led us up to the roof. It's good. It's all good. I know you want it. I know you're waiting for it. In the meantime, so there's the analog pocket that I showed you, that I think we're both really interested in at this point. Oh, that's something. Yeah, so we're both interested in the analog pocket. I was actually, I'm glad the analog pocket's come up when it has, because I was actually really considering looking into picking up a Super Nintendo for myself, and had started kind of looking into video solutions. And the analog pocket coming up has reminded me, oh wait, there's the Super NT, which is now what I'm looking into for that. Okay, that opened a block. What was... The block was down there somewhere. Dick. No, I have a bunch of emulation things for the Super Nintendo. I've not had a Super Nintendo in years. I have the Super Nintendo Mini. I have a bunch of emulation options for the Super Nintendo. I don't have an actual Super Nintendo. And in particular, it's a case kind of like the Nintendo 64 video options for it. What do we do with it? And the Super NT is basically the video solution, which I'd completely forgotten about. It's weird to me how small the Super NT is. And like, I don't mean like how thin it is, I mean like lengthways. It's not as long as the Super Nintendo. And that's weird to me. But other than that, it looks like a really nice system. Took a look at Digital Foundry Retro's analysis of it. Where was that block that I opened? I opened a block, where the hell was it? Was it on the other side? Yeah, it would have been. Okay, no, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I looked into the Digital Foundry Retro's look at it, and it looks like it'll do everything. It looks like it'd do everything I'm actually after, or play basically everything that I'm after. The compatibility is fantastic. So I am actually pretty interested in picking one up. Get off me. Yeah, so I might pick one up in the next few months. Add that to my library as something I'm probably not going to play enough to justify the cost. Oh god, you bastard. I forgot you actually appear here. Oh, hi Iron. How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Just in time to watch us take on Ikana Castle. Yeah. Really? It's not I'm sure it's compatible with Super Famicom. I know the shape's different. To make it compatible with both NTSC and Super Nintendo. NTSC and PAL cartridges. And the shape of the actual cartridge slot will accommodate both, I'm sure it's compatible with Super Famicom. Because why would Americans care about playing PAL? I mean, what they're going to play? Terra Enigma? Is that enough to justify it? Okay, so we are on the top now. That's where the block moved. And this is why we got the powder keg. Get that. That'd be weird if it isn't. It's weird that it accepts PAL cartridges but not Super Famicom. Because I would have thought if you're going to pick up a system like the Super NT, even if you are from PAL, you're probably more interested in playing. Let me sort this out. Oh, you opened already. Cool. Oh, thanks, Ian. I usually do have a bit of trouble with the king, but hopefully this will go well. Yeah, I would have thought, like, even if you are from Europe, you'd really be after the Super Famicom stuff. Because you're like, yeah, no, I'll totally play Super Castlevania 4 in Japanese, it's awesome. no, that analog pocket though, I'm like, oof, I am interested in that. I could do with some more arrows. Thank you. And let's get the most important mask ready. Good day, sir. Castle inspection. The unthinkable being, what, life? Happy Grognon. I probably pronounced that wrong if that's French. King something do Ikana, I think he is in English. Yeah, no, let's start this fight, right? Oh no, not the sun. And also, the sun. Oh no, my paper curtains. How could you have thwarted my plans? Alright boys, come here. Maybe Angry Grandpa. You know what? I like that. That's a good name. Okay, so you need to then aim the sun at the names. Otherwise, they'll get right back up like the Stalfers. Angry Grandpa, I like that. I'm gonna have to remember that. That's a good name. Yeah, you know, let me know what you find there, Bane, because I'll appreciate the results there. I'd like to know if it plays Super Famicom. Come on. Got your booty. This attack always got me as a kid. I hate this attack. What the hell happened there? Well, you know, there's Uncle Grandpa. That was a cartoon. I never watched it because it was after I stopped watching Cartoon Network. You know what was a good cartoon that was really underrated? Dave the Barbarian. Working. I really do. Got your booty. Oh, you spit. That's rude. Be angry no more, Grandpa. Take your medication. Thanks, Ian. I wasn't overly happy with the head getting me twice, but it went okay. Eek the cat. I don't quite remember. I don't remember that. If we're talking cartoons focused around a cat, the only one I really remember is Cat Dog. I like this line. This one's good. So now we're gonna get the ability to head towards Stone Tower. I am not forgetting Garfield and Friends. I don't think Garfield and Friends was a particularly good cartoon. Now we're going to get the ability to climb to Stone Tower. And this ability also... There you go. Egos do Ikana. Alright, thanks for joining us, Ian. Good luck on your exam, buddy. This ability we're going to get inspired so much creepypasta. This is the Elegy of Emptiness. And the creepypasta came from this. You know, a lot of people complain about the water temple in Ocarina of Time because of the constant equipping and unequipping of the iron boots and how tedious it is to go through the menu. I think Stone Tower is worse because of the use of the Elegy of Emptiness. You're constantly equipping and unequipping masks and transforming and then playing the song to leave statues to hold down switches, and it is so tedious. Put the captain's hat on. They dance for that as well. Well, it'd be cruel to leave him alive. Take care, Ryan. Have a good night, buddy. Now I need to open this door. Except I don't really, because I'm going to teleport. Alright, let's get out of here. It's not quite time for the milk bar to open. So what we're going to do is we're going to climb to Stone Tower. But yeah, like, the primary complaint with the water temple is equipping and unequipping the iron boots through the menu. And it is kind of tedious and gets kind of irritating. And the 3DS version of Ocarina did really improve that by making the iron boots as just an item. The Elegy of Emptiness is worse, I think. And the worst case of it, the biggest show, is on the climb to Stone Tower, because you will have to switch masks so often. Up at the top there is an owl statue. Okay, so... and then... God, what is the bloody song? I don't even remember. Maybe I should just have it up. Do, down. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, maybe I should just have the song ready. Okay, off. Okay, so there it is. So now we have a statue holding the switch down. Now you can do this with all 4 forms, although it's worth remembering that all you use this for is is to hold switches down. Effectively, the Deku form you can get with it is worthless, because the Deku scrub cannot hold a switch down. It's not. It's too heavy. It's too light. Okay, so throw this down. Just twice. It is compatible with Super Famicom. Yeah, I would have been very surprised if it wasn't. Because, okay, having the ability to play PAL games and NTSC is cool, but there's got to be, like, worldwide, there's got to be a far bigger market for playing Super Famicom. Okay, do it again. Pressing the buttons too fast. Alright. I think we actually have to press these in the right order. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in the Super NC. I'll take a look into it, see where we go with it. That was just to get back down, I wonder. But yeah, I'll definitely take a look into it, because the idea is really interesting to me. But, like, regarding the message you... Yeah. The Hyperkin Superboy is an interesting idea. I think it's kind of pointless, though. The idea of a portable Super Nintendo, yeah, cool. The issue is, you have to... The issue being with the Superboy, you have to play... To play the games, you have to play through actual cartridges. Cool, but for a portable system, it's essentially very unfeasible. Yeah, I know you were after it for the Super Famicom playability, but again, the Super NC would probably be way better for you. Okay, what about this? Okay. But yeah, regarding that message you sent earlier about the Game Boy, let me go look. I've got it. Yeah, like the age of the Game Boy and the stuff, and the reason why clone consoles like the Analog Pocket are a really cool idea. These are old systems, and they are falling apart. And it's not even that they weren't built to last. The Game Boys, let's be fair, old consoles were, for the most part, built to last. The good ones that we remember were built to last. It's just they were never expected to be... Like 30 years ago, would you expect somebody to still care about the NES in 30 years? The Game Boy is 30 years old this year. Would you expect somebody to still want an original Game Boy in 30 years? And so it's less a case of they weren't built to last so much as they're kind of just old. It's a big difference between stuff made back then and stuff made today. These days everything seems to have some kind of planned obsolescence. Which, you know, is a really horrible thing. Deliberately make something so that it won't last past a few years, so they'll have to buy another one or they'll have to pay us to repair it or something. Or if not make it so it'll break, then make it so that we can add an update that will break it. But your older systems just aren't built like that. Okay, we're almost there. And the Game Boy, as far as I'm aware, like the most common... The owl statue should be here. There you are. As far as I'm aware, the most common issue with Game Boys is the screen. The glue that held the screen in its proper, with its components, has worn away over like the last 30 years. That's where most of the problems with the screen comes from, and the screen being the most prevalent issue with the Game Boy. And it really is a fascinating thought. Let me see, you and you, and I will be back in a moment. Alright, I'm back. See, that is a good point, Bane, although I think while nobody really could have predicted the collector value of nobody could predict the desire for vinyl over time. I think with gaming it's somewhat different. In broad strokes, music is something you can still listen to on basically anything. While some people may prefer the quality of vinyl, it's down to personal choice. With games, with a lot of these games, there's no other way to play them. And while some people will argue, myself included, I think I have a thing of there's this thing where I think there's just something really good about playing a game on its original system. Chateau Romani. There's just something about playing a game on its original system that I think is really cool. But even without that, let's be fair, whenever we play anything on anything, what we really want is the same experience we got. I don't think it's necessarily even the nostalgia factor. It's like, there's various cases. Why am I playing Majora's Mask on Nintendo 64 rather than on the Wii U, where we would have the better quality picture? It's more comfortable because of the controller. The C buttons are better because it's original to the C buttons, and the C buttons work better as buttons than an analog stick matches the buttons. And while we can emulate various things in various ways, we want it to be as accurate as possible. That's what we're always striving for with these things, accuracy. I don't think I necessarily have that thought. Okay, do I need this one first? Let me make sure. Alright. There we go. I don't think it's necessarily the same way for me. Particularly, it's like, I got the Dreamcast, and I didn't have a Dreamcast growing up. I played a Dreamcast once in my life before that. But since getting a Dreamcast, it's a lot better to me to play a lot of the games for the Dreamcast on the Dreamcast, rather than the various re-releases. Like, Crazy Taxi on Dreamcast is so cool, as opposed to playing on GameCube or PS3 or whatever. There we go. I think a lot of it is down to the accuracy of the system, and while you can emulate games, there's always something a little off about it. And it's why something like the Analog Pocket or the Super NT Mini is so appealing over emulation. Because the idea of actual 100% compatibility compared to, say, the Retron 5 or the Hyperkin's Ultra HDMI 64 thing. Well, we're finally in the dungeon. Because the emulation just isn't always accurate. And it is one of the unfortunate truths. of the entire thing. And it's one thing that really sets gaming apart from sets gaming apart from basically every other medium. That going back and playing these original games, experiencing these original games, is so much harder than it is to go back and, say, re-listen to the White Album. Because you need the dedicated hardware for it. I'm not entirely sure I have that experience with any game, honestly. That said, I've spent a long time revisiting old games that I loved. Whether I finished them or not is another matter when I revisit them, but I do spend, and have for an extended period now, I've spent a lot of time replaying a lot of older games that I grew up with. And so a lot of the nostalgia factor just isn't there anymore. Wait, do I have... Is there a switch here that the Deku mask will actually work on? Not that one. This one... No. Like in particular, one of the main things I'm after though from the Analog Pocket I'm not a big Beatles fan myself, honestly, but that's shut. Again, I need a way to hold these open. There we go, that'll do. I'm not a big Beatles fan myself, but then there's very little I'd actually go nuts over. But like one of the big appeals of the Analog Pocket for me is a good way to play original Game Boy games on reasonable hardware without emulation. So I consider... Go away, you. I considered picking up something like the Kong GB Boy Color. And from everything I've seen, there's a slight difference in aspect ratio. There's a slight difference in aspect ratio, but the system plays great, looks great. But the big reason that I haven't bothered picking one up is it still requires batteries. I think we should be past that in this day and age. Huh. Well, like I say, I'm not really a Beatles fan. I never have been. I mean, everything comes down to personal taste, especially music. But never really been into the Beatles, but then how could you be into everything a band like the Beatles did when the Beatles covered so many genres? Okay. So, is this gonna be it? There we go. I'm a genius. Yeah, the ability to play Game Boy games off cartridge. You know, I'm gonna want the Goron mask to get through this lava. The ability to play Game Boy games and Game Boy Color games off cartridge, with a beautiful backlit screen and a rechargeable battery. I'm surprised that kind of thing hasn't been done before. Yeah, I've seen those, and I had something like that. I don't think it was the official one. But I had something like that when I was younger. I feel like we gained nothing out of this. Yeah, I had something like that when I was younger, and it's basically the main reason why I actually managed to finish Pokemon Yellow. All we got was the map, so what the hell was the point? Because I had the Game Boy Pocket, and the Game Boy Pocket did not have the same battery capacity that the Game Boy did. That should have been a point for that. Yeah, like Game Boy and Game Boy Color games in a nice, comfortable form factor that's very reminiscent of the original system. With a backlight, the screen sounds like it's going to be beautiful. And I love my crisp, sharp pixels. And with a backlight, really nice looking screen. And a battery. And then the big surprise of, oh hey, it will also play Game Boy Advance games. Like, I spent a bunch of money to get my Game Boy Advance. In the beautiful way it is. I have the backlit AGS 101 model. It looks fantastic. Although, let's be fair, I am not gonna. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get one of those IPS screens. What about you guys? Okay, is that gonna get me anything? Because I need a key. There we go. Exactly, but again, there's a case of I'm not overly fond of playing Game Boy and Game Boy Color on the Game Boy Advance, particularly because of the way the cartridge sticks out. I don't like that. So this analog pocket is something I'm very interested in for these reasons. And hopefully it'll come out and it'll be fantastic, just like the Super NT is supposed to be, and the Mega NT and the NT Mini. So what's over here? I If I was into Mega Drive, I'd probably consider picking up the Mega NT. Nah, I don't like all the extra like the sticking out. It's a similar thing with the DS Lite. Like, the DS Lite's a fine way to play Game Boy Advance games, but I don't like how much the cartridges stick out at the bottom. It is kind of a shame, because otherwise, like, the DS would be, like, the way to play Game Boy Advance. Particularly the DS Lite. Because let's be fair, the original DS ain't a great system. You know, I wonder where this light is coming from at night. Okay. The Game Boy Light seemed like a good idea to me, but it seemed like one of those things like, yeah, no, I'd love to get that. But the more I looked into it, it's like, it's neat for the time, but nah. Part of it is the price, but another part of it's the limitation. The lower battery life because of the backlight. The fact that it will only play original Game Boy games. Alright, where are we going now? It's like we discussed, the Analog Pocket was announced earlier than they had hit. Oh yeah, like, the Game Boy Advance backwards compatibility, I think, is the main reason to stick with the DS Lite over the DSi. And there is the case of, like, especially now, if you want the DS on a bigger screen, go with the 3DS XL, the new 3DS XL, or the 2DS XL. Because you're essentially getting everything you would have gotten out of the DSi XL. We are essentially at the point now where the DSi XL is an obsolete system. There is absolutely no reason to have one. I mean, I kind of like the form factor of the DSi, but I don't like the camera on the back, honestly. It's the main thing that ruins it for me. Alright, there's got to have been something more after there. But yeah, with the ability to play DSi, to play DS games, and also then have the 3DS games to play on the 3DS. Whereas the DSi can do all of that except the 3DS stuff. There's no reason to get a DSi these days. I hate this dungeon. Not there. Where's the entrance? There. I didn't properly explore this room. Right, this is the one with the fence. Damn it. Okay, try again. Did that too early because of mine. This is gonna get irritating, I can feel it. There's a chest there, it's probably going to be a key. You know, that said though, I mean, we'll go back to the idea of playing games on the original systems. I've been in a DS mood recently, so I've just been playing my DS Lite again. I could play the DS stuff on my 3DS or my 2DS XL, but I've been doing it on my DS Lite. I like the DS Lite, it's cool. It's a cool system. The whole thing with this dungeon is it's irritating. It's one of those dungeons that's irritating until you get a particular item, and then it's not as bad anymore. And the item we're after is the light arrows. They'll change the entire dungeon for us. Alright. Alright. No, it is not. I'm not entirely sure why. Although, from what I've gathered, the Game Boy Advance and the SP, they don't immediately... There's a switch inside that Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges hit that puts them into Game Boy Color mode. Although, of course, you know, some games can register that they're being played on a Game Boy Advance at the time, like Shaun can. And from what I've read, the Micro doesn't have that switch. I have tested it out, and you can't play Game Boy or Game Boy Color. God damn it! You can't play Game Boy or Game Boy Color games on the Micro. Not unless you are going to, not unless you're using a flash card and are emulating them. It is kind of a shame, although it's not that big a loss, honestly. Particularly with the small form factor of the Micro, having a big Game Boy cartridge sticking out the bottom would kind of kill the point. So I'm kind of okay with it. Okay, so that didn't do anything. So let's try this room again. So we just jumped straight into the water last time. Is there anything with this? Yeah, the Game Boy Micro is a cool system. I'm glad I picked one up, even though I barely play on it. That said, I am working on playing it more. I was a little concerned that the battery, because I got it secondhand, because how much a new one would go these days? Was this all a waste? There's not even anything I can do here. With how much a brand new one would go, it's like, of course I got one secondhand. It's in very good condition though, but I have had a concern of whether the battery life, whether the battery's dying on it. So what I have done is I sat down on Wednesday and drained the battery completely. Yeah, I can get on this side actually. See if we can do the jump. Okay. Nice. What are you? Yeah, I got mine for like £40. Very happy about that. I did have another one. I'm not sure what happened to my other one. I got it off eBay. It wasn't that expensive. The big issue with it, and the reason I ended up getting a second one when I saw it, was that the select button would just randomly register as being pressed. And took it apart, took a look at all the innards, couldn't find a problem with it. No idea why it happens. Alright, progress. But yeah, I got my Game Boy Micro at, I think it was like That's Entertainment. It's a particular shop in Ashton. It's been replaced with a table tennis. Yeah, that was my old one. Sonic Advance wasn't, because Sonic Advance is still a game I've had for years, and from what I've heard, is generally considered like the best of the Sonic Advance games. Sonic Advance, not so much of a problem. The select button doesn't do anything. But the other game I had with me at the time, Castlevania Circle of the Moon, the select button is the map. And it just kept on randomly pressing the select button. And it basically made anything that had the select button used for anything, made it worthless. Okay, come on. So I ended up picking up a new one. Not a new one. I ended up picking up one because I was in Ashton, and was what I was passing by. I might have been going to the toilet actually, because the shop is right next to the toilets in that in the shopping centre. And I walked past and they had a Game Boy Micro on display. It was £40. I was like, very good condition. I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pick this up. So I picked it up. I say, I think it was called That's Entertainment. It's gone now. Where it was is currently a place where you can just play table tennis for free. I'm not sure what the thought was behind that. There we go. Yeah, it's gone now. It's a place where you play table tennis for free. I'm not sure what the thought was behind that, although it might just be that, oh hey, it's a vacant room now, basically. God damn it. It's a vacant room now, and why not get some use out of it until somebody comes along and actually puts something there? Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, it was like £40, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. And I picked it up, really good condition, and I'm super happy with it. That's the wrong mask. Yeah, it's really good condition. The system itself is really nice. I love the all-metal framework of it. There's like so many systems. Oh, I've got to ruin this. Come on. Like basically, almost every system you're ever going to see is made of plastic, including the Game Boy Advance. But then here's the Game Boy Micro with a solid metal frame. And I was like, you know, that's really neat. Come on. There we go. It's a shop that I took a look in a few times. I think I did buy something else from there once, but by the time the shop was around, I was already at the point where I kind of had almost everything I was after. So there was never really anything for me to buy there. Finish my drink. There we go. This is a Garrow Master. There we go. Dodge the swords, alright. Yeah, like the biggest problem was like we're at the point where I just have basically everything. I barely even frequent game shops anymore because of that. If there's anything in particular I'm after, it'll be the old stuff. Which is why I'll still take a look in places like CX. This guy's irritating the hell out of me. They're disappearing, removing the Z target. The reason I'll still take looking places like CX when I get this one. I mean, for one, there's a CX basically everywhere. Oh, that was messed up. Yeah, there's basically a CX everywhere. And you will probably find some interesting stuff. Particularly because if I'm after something in a shop, it's probably just what retro stuff we have. But light arrows, now we can go and actually do stuff in this dungeon. Huh. You know what would be a good idea? The Zora mask. Oh, I can't actually jump back up. Oh well. There we go. Yeah, I've seen cool stuff in CX that I might have been interested in. Although not always at the price CX wants for them. So what did I see? There was a point a while ago when I went into CX Ashton. And they had both Yakuza and Yakuza 2 on PlayStation 2. Which is really cool, you don't see those that often. To buy them both would have cost like 50 quid, and it's like... You know, I'm glad I have both. £90 for Batman Return of the Joker. Oh jeez, and I forgot Igor was in this game. Wow. There we go. Cartridge only for 35. You have no idea what to price stuff out. That's really the big thing with them. Sometimes you might catch a good deal. Most of the time, no. Well, no, it's like I wasn't going to be buying Yakuza 1 and 2 for 50 quid together. Partly because I already have both of them and I've had them for years. I picked up Yakuza 1 and 2 back during the PS3 days, where PS2 games were still going pretty cheap. They hadn't become a big collector thing yet. So I got most of my PS2 games. Most of them are from when I was buying PS2 games, which was pre-PS before I got PS3. So I got stuff like like Rogue Galaxy. Almost all the Shin Megami Tensei games I've got. I got Shin Megami Tensei Lucifer's Call back in the day. I paid maybe £7 for it. I got Digital Devil Saga and Digital Devil Saga 2 really cheap at the time. My Persona 3 I got pretty cheap. I think it was less than a tenner. It's really the thing. I've said before, I didn't get the PS2. Why is this? That's better. I didn't get the PS2 until like 2008, 2009. And I didn't properly start getting games for it, especially not the more interesting stuff. Like, Shin Megami Tensei and Yakuza. I didn't start getting that till I was in college, which was 2009. Oh, here we are. The PS3 was going strong. A lot of people had lost interest in the PS2. There was some pricey stuff in it, but pretty much nothing was like overpriced, which was nice. That way, I guess. And so I ended up with a lot of games that are pretty pricey now, pretty cheap. Well, I got my Persona 3 for not that much. Like I say, less than a tenner. Persona 4 I picked up a few years ago now. Because previously I'd actually borrowed it from a friend. But I picked it up for myself. I think it was £20 new and it's still sealed. Yeah. It is one of the biggest issues, because... What the hell was that? It's one of the biggest issues, because you want to have picked stuff up at the time, but then at the time, there's a lot of stuff that you just weren't aware was actually really good. That's probably going to be a fairy. Oh, that works. Yeah, at the time you weren't really aware of what was actually good. Yep. As I say, yeah, let me take a drink. Okay. Oh. Come on. Yes. Okay, and over there. Not there. Oh wow, that just happened if I jumped in there. Alright. Try this again. Went better that time. It's another fairy. Let's look with a key. I have an idea. Come on, turn better. Well, we're going to be at this for a minute. You know, one day we'll make it down there. Oh yeah. Well, it's like say, you know, the dream is to get something at a time when nobody knows its value. But the trick to that is this isn't what I wanted. Huh. The trick to that is particularly knowing what something is worth at the time. Is this going to pop up again? No, it isn't. Awesome. Knowing what something is worth at the time. And you really just had to get lucky with that kind of thing. It's like you had Legend of Dragoon at the time. It's like, great, that's a really good catch. And you really enjoyed it. And we've spoken before about like how everybody had a chipped PS1, because of course they did. One of the games I had on my chipped PS1 was Suikoden, and I didn't really enjoy it as a kid. I bet I didn't play much of it because I didn't like it. And so the thought with that is two things. The question of whether or not you would have had something at the time, and also the question of whether you would have appreciated its value. What does that get me? What does this get me? There's a door there. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy Suikoden as a kid. When they released it on PSN, I played it again, and honestly, I thought Suikoden was really good. But as a kid, oh, I'm gonna hate this room. Okay. And not there. There's a switch in here. Go away. Go away. Right there. Alright. Seriously, I did not know that the price of Outbreak File 2 had gone up. Right, let me see this. Is this where I want it? No, I did not know that the price of Outbreak File 2 had gone up. Also, 30 to £40? Jeez. Makes me glad I picked that up years ago, and admittedly, Outbreak File 2 was always harder to find than Outbreak File 1. But I've found it and I've seen it for like less than a £5. Okay, and that will get me into position. Right. I mean, I guess you really can't predict the market for these things. It's like how Haunting Ground is weirdly expensive in the US for some reason. But, like, cheap and easy to get hold of here. It uses the goddess statue of Scale. There we go. Give me that arrow. It's still a weird thing. I mean, something like Gaiden being expensive, or like Survivor. Oh, for something like Gaiden or Survivor 2 Code Veronica, because Gaiden didn't. Did Gaiden sell well? I don't know. I don't remember. Like Survivor 2 Code Veronica was only released in Japan and Europe, so it makes sense that it's kind of pricey. But Outbreak File 2 suddenly turning up as pricey is weird. Regardless of the RE2 make or not. Yeah, as a Gaiden I can understand. Look forward to the eventual Resident Evil Gaiden playthrough when I become so desperate for anything to play. Piss off. You know what? You know, one day I should go through Gaiden again for myself. I think I did it like once. It was on emulation. And, let's be fair, if there's one thing emulation changes about playing a game, it's the fact that you can have save states. It's like, oh hey, that 120 star run I was doing in Super Mario 64 on the Wii U, you're damn right, I was using the save states at times. Honestly, some of those stars can go to hell. Oh, this room felt like a waste of time. Yeah, I got bored. Yeah, that was the issue. I got bored. Yeah, we'll go with that. Honestly, I wasn't overly in. Oh god, I forgot about this guy. I wasn't overly into the idea of doing Gaiden, to be honest. Hey, buddy. Gomez. lot of keys. Running out of arrows here. There we go. How this guy showed up ever again. I don't think this enemy exists in any other Zelda game. Let me get some arrows. Yeah, part of the issue though is like, it's not necessarily boredom, it's the problem I have with the attention span, honestly. And I've said before, like, why would there no arrows in this room? I've said before, like, a big part of the reason for the stream and the Let's Plays is to give me the focus. Oh, that sounds horrible. I've said before, like, the major point of the LPs and the stream is to really give me a reason to focus on games again. And for the most part it does work. Not all the time. Not all the time. And I suppose part of the thing that doesn't help is, let's be fair, Gaiden is interesting conceptually as a game, not as an actual game. It's interesting that it's a Resident Evil on Game Boy. And beyond that, like, I've probably burned myself out now with Resident Evil for a while. With all the stuff we've done on the stream, on the channel. I say that, I'm probably going to play RE2 again in like 2 months. Welcome to our special Christmas stream of playing Resident Evil 2 again. I didn't go through this door. What the hell is that? A Death Armos. We might have a problem. Yeah, I saw that. I got the email notification about it. I need to go into the comments and thank them. Because it was very nice of them. I appreciate it. Run! But yeah, I've probably burnt myself out with classic Resident Evil for a while. And beyond that, now that we've done 2 Resident Evil games this year for the channel, I want to take a bit of a break before we go to the next one. There's always other stuff to do. And we got the thoughts mentioned previously on other stuff we can do soon once Halloween is over. Oh, I remember where that is, which means I remember where this is. And the question is, where's the Giant's Mask? Yeah. I'm not sure what the next Resident Evil I'll do is for the channel. Especially since I'm looking at them as like two separate series, really. Classic and RE4 style. And you might think with RE4 style, oh, that's 4, 5, 6. But then you're not counting stuff like Revelations and Revelations 2. And also 2 Remake. We'll go back to the start here. The Giant's Mask, Giant's Mask. I need to find the Giant's Mask. Now that I have the boss key, the Giant's Mask is what I need to go for the boss. That said, it isn't required. I just like, I want it for all the masks, and can I get that from here? I want it for all the masks, and it's actually used for the boss fight in this dungeon. It has one use, it's the boss fight. I don't have a key for this though. Huh. There are so many chests left over because of this thing. Alright, let's do this. Well, there's a bunch of cool variety stuff. Goddamn fairy! Bunch of cool variety I've got planned coming up for the channel, which would be nice. We have 2 more weekend one-offs actually coming up for the channel for Halloween. Before Halloween is over, and the second one is something I'm actually quite interested in. I've recorded the first one, I've not done the second one yet, but I know what it's going to be. I decided that earlier this week, and I'm pretty interested in doing that, so that should be fun. No, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so that isn't anything. Or it's a fairy. Where did this lead? Right, this is where we were coming back from. I am thankful for the praise on the RE2 playthrough though. I am very happy with how it came out. There were some mistakes, but I'm very happy with the end result. Let's go. We can go in this room. that the boss door? No. Alright, that was kind of confusing. Yeah, made some mistakes in the RE2 playthrough. Who knows, I may end up playing RE2 again soon after the stream so that I can learn from those mistakes and get a better time. Because I feel Claire's playthrough was almost as good as it could be. I feel like Leon's playthrough we could have probably shaved off maybe 10 minutes of the total time. But I'm not a speedrunner, so what do I know? You really got to admire the tenacity and dedication of speedrunners. Because like, it's like, oh, I've played RE2 how many times in the past few months? Like 8, maybe? And then you got those speedrunners who are just like, oh hey, I played RE3 12 times today. I was like, oof. I could not do that. We're almost at the second night. I haven't figured out where I'm going. So we found a key, but we haven't found a use. We found a key. We found a locked door. We haven't found a key. Get in the bloody flower. Not the ice arrows. There we go. You know, I don't even think it's about the time. We can, if we have that kind of dedication and the attention span to stick with a game that many times, the time doesn't even really matter. You'll find the time for it. This was a dead end. This map is so stupidly confusing. This is why I turned back. Alright. I think the big thing on RE3 speedruns at the minute is to get a sub 41 playthrough. Get a sub 41 run. It's like you got that, and here I am happy that I managed to beat Link to the Past in under 3 hours. Jeez. You know, I'm beginning to think that the only course of that I have... Well, you say that, but that's not true of everybody. I follow an RE3 speedrunner who isn't professional and just does it in his spare time. Alright, so I think we might just want to switch this now. But there's the thing, like, okay, we're here now, we're doing like 3 hours of streaming. I hate this dungeon, I really do. We're here now, we're doing like 3 hours streaming Majora's Mask. Imagine if that 3 hours was spent streaming a playthrough of, not even one playthrough, like multiple runs of RE3. God damn it. If I'm going to practice running through RE2, I should do it on GameCube, because you can skip the cutscenes on GameCube. It's like the only real advantage the GameCube version has over the Dreamcast version. They let you skip the in-game cutscenes. This is going to be irritating, this now. So I was hoping to have this done by like 10:30, and then we could go a little bit over to do the ending. And the big issue is, like, once we're done with Stone Tower, there ain't enough left of the game for it to be a stream, its own separate stream. Let me see. Bunny Hood. Light arrows. Yeah, there ain't enough left for it to be its own stream, but there's a bunch of cutscene. Then we got to do the optional stuff to get the last mask. Grab this chest. Was it worth it, or was it a fairy? It was a fairy, yeah, it was a fairy. I didn't mean to do that. I thought for a second I still had the hook shot eclipse. Put you down like that. Don't you are. Alright. See, open this door. Did this lead anywhere? That led there. Where did this lead? This led through there. There were things. That led to the room where I fought the Garrow Master. The good news is, once we're done here, Stone Tower is basically the hardest dungeon in 3D Zelda. Chances are I just need one key. what is there in Wind Waker? Dragon Roost is the first dungeon is fine. Forest Haven, Tower of the Gods. Then there's the Earth Temple, the Wind Temple, and then the Forsaken Fortress. Wind Waker doesn't have many dungeons. It was intended to have more, but they ended up cutting some of them out. It was one of the questions when the Wind Waker HD was coming out, like, oh hey, are you going to put those dungeons you cut back in the game? They were like, no, we already used those in other Zelda games. Although I think cut out is probably the wrong word and really should be... didn't finish. Left out of the game. Did I miss any dungeons in Wind Waker? I might not have. Like, there is a thing where Link to the Past is still the Zelda game with the most dungeons, because it has like 11 dungeons, and Ocarina of Time is the only game that comes close to that. Give me something. There's supposed to be a chest there. Twilight Princess does have some really interesting dungeons. It's kind of a shame Twilight Princess gets so much hate, because design-wise, a lot of it is really interesting. Yeah, I wonder if the Blast Mask would reach that. Yep. That might just be a normal chest. But yeah, Twilight Princess has a bunch of interesting dungeon design. There's the Forest Temple, which isn't actually the Forest Temple, it's the Forest Dungeon. There's the first one. The Goron Mines is really interesting. That's after the Zora Dungeon. Like, basically none of the dungeons in Twilight Princess are dungeons. Can I get a better look at that chest? That's not a key. Yeah, none of the dungeons are really dungeons. I'm not sure what the Forest Dungeon is, but the Goron Dungeon is mines. I forget what the Zora Dungeon is. And then you've got a mansion in the mountains. There's a bunch of different stuff, and it's really interesting. And then the final dungeon you go through is Hyrule Castle, and that's really interesting. Where am I even going? One key, probably. And I can't figure out what chest it's in. This dungeon. Which one do I need to stand on? Is it you? Yeah, you're good. Put this back on just in case. I didn't finish Skyward Sword. So... yeah, I look forward to playing through Twilight Princess again. I did only actually beat it the once. When I borrowed it on GameCube from a friend. I have got it on the Wii U. I've got it on GameCube as well now. But I've got it on Wii U and I've not beaten it on there. Okay. So there's that chest over there. What's that going to be? Whatever it is, I can't reach it like this. There we go. There's another bloody fairy. You got any interesting topics, Boone, to talk about? Keep us alive while I finish off this horrible dungeon. More people need to complain about this. Everybody's all like, oh, water temple. More people need to complain about Stone Tower. Alright. Nothing in the middle for that. This room. Nothing. Grab those arrows. Fun fact, when I played this as a kid, I did not know that Chateau Romani gave you infinite magic for the rest of the 3-day cycle. I thought it was just really expensive milk that functioned as basically a blue potion. So restoring health and magic. I don't think the description tells you that it will give you unlimited magic. Okay, spin. You know what? I've realised what I missed. Because now I've realised what this room is. Jeez. There's the last key. There's like half an hour wasted. Yeah, these things are a bit much. See that key? Where was that locked door? I have to remember where the locked door was. A year ago, okay, we go off your question there. A year ago, that sounded wonderful to me. In the time since, I remember where I know where I need to go. In the time since, I have, like, the main thing for me was PS2 backwards compatibility. Like, a way to play PS2 games on a modern display looking really nice with all my PS2 games was really good, because I was not overly happy with how the PS2 was looking, and there's the issue with the controllers and everything. The DualShock 2s weren't great, but in the time since, essentially I've gotten a solution for it that I'm happy with. The component output, I've gotten decent decent controller for it. Here we go, this is going to be the Giant's Mask. And, like, essentially in the last year or so, I've basically gotten a solid way to play PS2, and I'm happy with it. Well, there's the thing, there's the PS3 to play PS1 games, and you don't want to play PS2 games on the PS3. The PS2 classics aren't great on the PS3, and the PS2 classics on the PS4 are very limited. There's a lot that just isn't there. If it can run these games off disc, like the Xbox One can run its backwards compatible games, if it can run them off disc, then it's cool, and I would... I'd say whether or not I'm going to personally use it, it's a good idea. If it does PS1, 2, 3 and 4. Whether I'll use it or not ain't the point at that point. The big question, really, is like, it should be backwards compatible with PS1 and PS2. The fact that the PS4 isn't backwards compatible with PS1 is ridiculous. The PS3 is the big question. We know it's going to be backwards compatible with PS4. The PS3 is the question. Also, cool thing, this is where we fought the Garo Master. The boss room is just where we fought the Garo Master. Oh no, I think it should do all of them, and if it does it, lets you play them through disc, great. But the question is really going to be, can it do PS3? The PS3 is a mess of architecture. Yeah, let's do this. They ruined this fight in the 3DS version. Twin mold. Now these are huge. And you can fight them like this. The 3DS version forces you to. I think you have to kill one of them, and then it'll spawn the Giant's Mask, and then you have to use the Giant's Mask for the second one. But you can fight them like this. But I think we should get some use out of the Giant's Mask. They also changed how the Giant's Mask works in the 3DS version. Here, we just big Link. And that's it. In the 3DS version, for some reason, they ruined how Link controls as a giant. And it is so cumbersome and awkward that they changed how the entire fight works with it. It's the worst boss fight in the 3DS version. But no, I do think, like, particularly Sony should take a page out of Microsoft's book, allow for like full backwards compatibility from the disc, PS1 and PS2. Like, whether I'm going to use it or not, it's still a really cool idea. And Sony could bring back the whole idea of PS2 classics, and it could make stuff worthwhile again. It could get publishers interested in putting the games up digitally on the store. The way I see it, like, Sony doesn't really have much to lose by making the PS5 backwards compatible with PS1 and the PS2. The PS3 would be the real trick, because the PS3 architecturally is so bizarre. There's a reason why if any game was playable on both Xbox 360 and PS3, generally the PS3 version would be weaker. Because the PS3 just had really bizarre architecture. Well, I think the big reasoning for that, the removal of PS2 backwards compatibility on later PS3 models, was a cost measure. The early PS3s that could play PS2 games, it was a hardware thing. They had the hardware in to play the PS2 games. If they make it all software based and they make it good software, like the Xbox One is software based emulation that they've worked out perfectly. And at that point, the hardware itself isn't going to matter. There won't be anything to take out in later revisions. I think the bigger question with that would be, like, is it going to have PS3 architecture in it? And will the PS3 architecture be taken out in later revisions for cost's sake? Well, there's also the problem the original model had the various problems. Like it's overheating. There's a really interesting point in that they have finally discovered the reason for the yellow light of death on PS3s. it's taken this long. The original models were unreliable. It's a big part of the problem. Unfortunately, they were also the only versions that had the PS2 hardware. But yeah, like, the PS3 played PS1 games basically perfect. Or as close to perfect as they really needed to be. The PS4 plays PS2 games as good as they need to. Far better than the PS3 did. I think if the PS5 comes along and does both PS1 and PS2 like that, alongside we know it's going to do PS4, and it's able to do those three like that, particularly PS1 and PS2 through its software and its own hardware. Oh wow, I've never seen this guy running around like this. Oh yeah, the $599 US thing. Everybody remembers that. Yeah, I've never seen Sakon roaming around Clock Town this time. This is an interesting thing to stumble on, actually. Well, I didn't have the money for a PS3. I've never seen that exchange before. But yeah, if they have PS1 and PS2 running through the software at a solid rate, like Microsoft has Xbox and Xbox 360 stuff on Xbox One, you won't even have to worry about later revisions of the system removing that. And at that point, I think that'd be cool. Alright, I guess we're gonna go and finish the game then, because this ain't gonna be enough for a stream on its own. Ugh. Gotta wait all this time. Yeah, I do think backwards compatibility would be a good idea. The question is whether Sony's going to go for it or not. I mean, not being able to play PS3 games on the PS4 was a big blow. But there's also the case of, while Microsoft allowing us to play Xbox and Xbox 360 games on Xbox One is great. It's one of my favourite things about the system. The stats they have says that like less than 50% of Xbox One owners actually use that, which is a real shame. And it'll leave us questioning, like, will Sony even bother with that kind of response? I mean, Microsoft has pledged itself to continue that with the Xbox Scarlet, but will Sony care? And if there's one problem with this generation, it's that Sony has gotten way too big for its boots. And it seems to have been a big problem with the market leader at any time. Nintendo got way too arrogant as a result of the NES and the Super Nintendo. I think Sony could pull it off. The question is whether they will. Like, Nintendo got arrogant with the NES and Super Nintendo. And then the Nintendo 64, they expect everybody to be like, oh yeah, no, we'll stick with Nintendo. Nintendo's our brand. Which is why they stuck with cartridges, and nobody really stuck with Nintendo. Publishers didn't, a lot of consumers didn't, and then the PlayStation also pulled in new gamers. And then Sony got arrogant from PS1's success and the PS2's success. But then Microsoft hit back with the Xbox 360 and, the 360 made a big splash. And it really is a question of who actually won that generation. It's very close, because the PS3 started to catch up by the end, but the Xbox 360 had a huge lead that generation. And then, of course, Microsoft's arrogance from the Xbox 360's success, where it comes out and it's like, the Xbox One will always be online. It will always have DRM. You will not be able to resell your games. You will not be able to play used games. It will have the Kinect connected to it all the time, and everybody was like, no. And then the Xbox One, they changed a lot of how the Xbox One worked in the original release. The always online was gone, the DRM was gone, the inability to play used games was gone. They tried to backpedal on that and said, oh no, you'll be able to play used games for a fee, and people didn't like that, and then that was gone. They kept the Kinect, but the Kinect also upped the price by like £100. And so the minute, like the first revision, was it even a revision? Like a year later, they kept it for longer than they really should have. But like a year or so later, Microsoft started selling the Xbox One without the Kinect because nobody liked it and it still didn't work. And as a result, Sony pulled out a big lead. And the big argument in this entire generation has been exclusives. With Microsoft basically fumbling the ball. Gears 4 wasn't particularly amazing. Gears 5 seems to have been okay. Crackdown 3 finally came out and was Sunset Overdrive didn't set the world on fire. Sea of Thieves didn't set the world on fire. And then Sony's had stuff like the Yakuza series has made an astounding return on PS4. Persona 5 happened. Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, The Last of Us Remastered. I don't even think it's really just a case of the first generation PS3s. Because let's be fair, the first generation Xbox 360s were garbage as well. Microsoft got a lead in that generation, and that really, really helped them. We're back. You ready for this, Bane? Just help me stop Skull Kid. We know what we have to do. Da 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 da. The oath to order. The four who are there, call them here. So you can do this anytime after you've rescued the first giant. You can play the Oath to Order, and the number of giants you've rescued will come. The issue is, without all four of them, they won't succeed at anything. Woodfall, Snowhead, Great Bay. It always bothered me how that giant stone tower. It always bothered me how the Great Bay giant kind of just stands on the fountains, because those fountains look really sharp. Legs up to here. They did it. They stopped the moon. I want a mod for Majora's Mask that replaces the moon with Wario's head. We saved the day. Well, technically, he only hit Tail once. It's just we went back in time and saw him do it again. Yeah, he had too many weaknesses for him to use your power, you're right. Wait a minute. I love that sting chord. That's brilliant. It ain't over yet, babe. No, don't get me wrong. Snake, it's not over yet. Don't get me wrong. As far as like the final battles go, the final battle with Gan in Ocarina is like my favourite, just for the atmosphere alone. But we're not done here. It's even more horrifying when it's mouth open. Awesome going up there, but here are a time. Come on guys, we're on a time limit here. If I could fall into the sky, do you think time would pass me by? Hello, Georg. So here's a weird thing. Every kid here is basically the face is the Happy Mask salesman. Prefer the AC/DC version. Hey, get back here. Okay, you can have the all-night mask. So this is what we need all the masks for. AC/DC version. So yeah, this is what we need all the masks for. We give these kids masks. We give these kids masks, and it takes all of our masks to make them happy. Like, every single mask in the game. You say ACVC, I've just realised that's what that is. Back in Black with the 1,000 miles. Back in track. Yeah, I was never overly fond of Killing in the Name of as a song. No! How many do we have? Yeah, this will give us another heart container. There we go. Yeah, I was never really into Killing in the Name of as a song. Okay, so we take the left, we take the right, and take the next left. This is where we just went. I want left, right, left. Yeah, it can be it can be really interesting to see songs with different backing tracks. There's a really interesting take on Hollow If You Hear Me by Tupac that I heard once, with the backing track being Gwen Stefani's Hollaback Girl, and it's fascinating. Okay, so you give them masks to get in these mini dungeons, then you give them masks at the end. And by the end of it, this takes all our masks. And put the bunny hood back on. And so there's 4 of these. You know, I don't think I've actually heard that one. When you say Smash Mouth, I assume you mean All Star, because let's be fair, who remembers any other Smash Mouth songs? Ask Yorg, which means this is going to be the Goron. Ugh, gotta remember this one. I want to get rid of the bunny hood last. So this one is awkward because it requires basically perfect precision. Let's go. And what's even more irritating is there is a piece of heart here that you have to get out of this to get. There's an interesting crossover I heard of Adele's Set Fire to the Rain to In the End backing track by Linkin Park. In the End by Linkin Park, that backing track. And that really worked. One of my favourites though is... Yeah, one of my favourites is Will Smith's Party Starter. Is that where I want to go? Will Smith's Party Starter to the sound of Numb Encore by Jay-Z and Linkin Park. Awesome. That works out a lot better than I expected. So this is all optional. If you don't have all masks, no point in doing this. And if you're not going for the first 80s mask, you don't need to do this. But the first 80s mask is the reward for doing this. And like I say, to get, you do all 4 of them, you give away all your masks, and then you talk to the final masked child. And because you've given all your masks to the other children, he gives you a mask in return, and that's the first 80s mask. Twin mold. You know, I feel like I might have heard Stand By Me to the tune of 1 week. But I can't quite get the rhythm in my head. Is this the awkward one? Is this the one that's actually like a dungeon? Yeah, now folks. And also I think this actually requires launchers. Like a Jedi and a lightsaber. Against fire, it's worthless. Well, I gave up the Mask of Truth, so I can't check what that Gossip Stone's saying. Okay, come on. I think this fight's going better because this arena's smaller. And this one doesn't give us any information, just blows up. I'm guessing that's a link to that song then. There's bomb shoes. No, it's arrows. No. Sure one of these rooms requires bomb shoes and I hate it. Oh hey, an iron knuckle. Yep, there's the hole for the bomb shoes. Should have dodged. Come on. You really gotta be careful with the iron knuckles because they can take off like 3 hearts per hit. Or is it 4? So this is going to be fun. Really do hate bomb shoes. I was happy in the Ocarina of Time stream that in the places that I thought I was going to have to use a bomb shoe that I wouldn't have to, except for that one time. Let me see if I can work this actually. That's not gonna work. Is that gonna work? Alright, let me... So we'd have to get closer. Come on. It's going off in the wrong direction. You know, I'm glad bomb shoes did not come back after this. Didn't need anything like this in Wind Waker, and then I think in Twilight Princess they just gave you bomb arrows. That's nice, if only to shut the beeping up. Right, I've got one bomb chew left. And I have to figure the actual angle out of this. Perfect. You know, I hate this sometimes. It's like, if you remember in the Ocarina run, we managed to open up that one wall in the Spirit Temple, just throwing a bomb in it. Those two holes are deliberately placed too high for that. Give me bomb. What use is rupees now that I'm in the moon? You know, every now and then, I remember there's a reason that I don't often go for 100% in games. It's worth it in this case. It really is. But, you know, you remember all the crap you can be avoiding if you're not going for 100%. It's why I don't do 100% in Crash. Because Crash is a fun game. Then you do go for 100% and it's like... If the chests don't... You know, let me look up if there's an actual solution for this without bomb chews. Yeah, you know, I was... There was a time when I was working towards 100% on Crash... Crash 3. Not Crash 3, Crash 2. And I got to, I think it was the 5th tier, and I just lost my patience. I had all the gems up till then, I just lost my patience. So I've looked it up, and there is a solution for this that doesn't involve the bomb chews. Okay, so we'll look at that. Okay. This makes no sense to me. And now the door's open for some reason. I don't get it. I don't know how you'd be expected to figure that out. maybe if you still had the Mask of Truth, talk to the Gossip Stones. But again, we gave that away already. Alright, one more. I forget if you can give away the transformation masks. Probably not. Because what if you gave away the Zora or Goron masks before you used them when you needed to? I have no idea how you're supposed to figure that crap out, unless it is specifically with the Mask of Truth. But yeah, I'm happy enough with the standard era playthrough of Crash. People who willingly choose to 100% Crash 1 in its original incarnation are they're insane. Like, Crash 1... Crash 1 on the Insane Trilogy is bad enough, but at least they've reworked a bunch of the problems. You can get the gems now. You don't. In the original Crash, you have to get all the boxes without dying. In the Insane Trilogy, they've reworked it so you just have to get all the boxes. Although there is an exception, you have to get for the color gems. You have to get all of those in one life. You have to get all those without dying. So it's better, it's still not great, honestly. Like, the idea of going through every level in Crash 1 without dying and getting all the boxes. The idea of going through every level in the original Crash without dying, getting all the boxes for every level. And imagine doing it without a guide, so you don't know if the level you're playing can actually be done your first time through. Because especially in the early game, a lot of those levels require the colour gems to get every box. And Crash 1 is horrible with that. Because not only do you require the colour gems for a lot of the levels to get every box. Okay, come on. Not only do you require the colour gems to get every box in some of the levels. Wow, that is it. Like, you're not gonna know on your first playthrough if you're doing it without a guide. Or even on your second playthrough. You're not gonna really know unless you've done it so many times or you're using a guide. But, okay, that is the last of that. Let's roll on up. You know, I've never tested how far this actually goes now. Oh wow. it looked like there's a visible edge, and it does look like that, but there's an invisible wall here. That's interesting then. Because that would make this probably the largest open space on Nintendo 64. But now that we've done that, we talk to this kid. The one wearing Majora's Mask. And we get the first 80s mask for it. Koga's gym's invisible walls were pretty easy to spot though. The first 80s mask is interesting, particularly in the fact it can only be used in boss rooms. People have glitched it, managed to glitch the game so you can use it outside of boss rooms, but it is very glitchy and prone to crashing the game and like that. Here we go. And we essentially become Adult Link with a unique sword. And the thing with this is you go out your way, you get every mask, you do all of that specifically for this, and watch how the final fight turns out. Because it's a lot of trouble to get this, but it is worth it. Majora's Mask. So if we Z-target and then attack, we shoot little spirals of energy. They cost magic. But we still have the effects of the Chateau Romane. Well, you can see the lines in the ground. Yeah, we still have the Chateau Romane, so this isn't even a problem. We're not going to run out of magic because of it. Majora's Mask, done. Now we have Majora's Incarnation. This form's weird. And it can be tricky to predict its movements. But again, with this, done. And now, Majora's Wrath. Those whips have a hell of a range. Well, I think the idea might be that's it, game done, bam. First 80s mask. Worth it. I think the idea might be that Majora wasn't so much a person as the tribe, because the mask was used by a tribe for hexing rituals and stuff. So the idea may be that Majora isn't the person, but is the tribe, it's the mask of the tribe. But, you know, with Majora's Mask in particular has inspired so many fan theories as far as Zelda games go. Probably more fan theories than any other Zelda game, because it's such a weird game with so much subtext. there goes the moon. We saved the day and made a rainbow for some reason. Dawn of a new day. The rest of your life remains. Hey, Epona. We didn't see you at all during this streaming session. What up, Giants? You know, speaking of 100% runs, like, one that's really not worth it. Super Mario 64. It can be fun, getting all the stars, and then you get to the last two courses. Like, the reason is, like, back when we did commentary, and when we did the Super Mario 64 playthrough for the channel, we did the Wii U version. We did the Wii U Virtual Console version of Super Mario 64, and you can see my, I think it's like 108 star file, and the reason I never finished that was because of the last two courses. Tick-Tock Clock and Rainbow Ride are horrible. And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I wanted to show them off for the Let's Play, I wouldn't have touched them. I would have just gotten the stars elsewhere. Well, that's the thing. The tribe knew the mask was evil and sealed it away. It's possible that it was just power that gained sentience. So that is the confirmation that this is the Skull Kid from Ocarina of Time that you give the Skull Mask to. Like I said, there's a lot of fan theory around this game, and this game in particular, because there's so much weird stuff and subtext in this game, and so much that you can, so much that could be elaborated on. It's really weird and interesting. Personally, not overly into fan theories, but if you are, this game is rife with them. Can't have a lot of time. See you later, fellas. Chrono will return in Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I say that means I'm going to have to name Link in Wind Waker something else. Specifically, the Hero of Time incarnation returns in Twilight Princess. And it was confirmed that it is the Hero of Time. And so I think the whole idea here is Link, before he goes back to Hyrule, fulfills the imminent obligations of the people whose spirits he healed. Like, he's here performing Ballad of the Windfish with the Indiegogos. Majora's Mask is an interesting game. It's a very different Zelda game. And the dungeons are definitely harder than other Zelda games. There go the pirates again. It is probably the most difficult 3D Zelda game. But I think, particularly with the whole focus on the 3-day cycle and everybody repeating what they do during those 3 days, they have set schedules, it leads to these characters having so much character. Way more than any other Zelda game, and it's what makes this my favourite Zelda game. That the characters have so much depth because of this. Postman is now free to become the running man like he was in Ocarina, I guess. This is a good credits theme. It's not my favourite Zelda credits theme. There's all 4 great fairies. And also the one with the clock tower. We only saved one of them, but pretend we saved all 4. And Cremia shows off, Romani shows off her bow skills to Cremia. Bomb shop owner and his mother celebrate the carnival of time. I think this guy's called Grog. He's just happy that the chickens, his chicks have become chickens. It's weird, that character model does appear in Ocarina, but it's changed in this version, in Majora's Mask, to have a mohawk, and that's the only change. It's really weird. Gorman finally gets to see a live performance of Ballad of the Windfish. Everybody celebrates in the milk bar. The guy's not a Gibdo monster anymore. Everybody gathers in attendance for Anju and Cafe's wedding. It's an interesting thing here. This model of Anju is exclusive for this ending scene. And it plays out from first person for Cafe until that turn happens. If you go into, like, if you move the camera through hacking or whatever, there's no Cafe model present. There isn't a specific adult form of Cafe. And if you remember that tree stump we found at the beginning, Deku Butler is crying over it, which again suggests that this tree stump is his son, and that the Deku mask we got came from that. that the Skull Kid sealed the Deku Scrub in that form and took his spirit and then implanted his spirit in us to turn us into a Deku Scrub, and then we healed the spirit and got the mask out of it. And Link returns to Hyrule in the Lost Woods. And carved on a stump is Link, the Skull Kid, the two fairies, and the four giants. And that's the end. And this is, like Ocarina of Time, one of those games that you have to now reset the system for. No, you see, there's the thing. It did play the best song in the world. It's just that the Skull Kid, unlike the devil, is a cheater. But that was The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. And that's going to call an end to this stream, because there's nothing else to do but reset or turn the system off. Because this is just one of those games. Thank God Nintendo stopped doing that. I want to thank everybody who joined the stream. I always appreciate the support. Special thanks to Bane for keeping me company in the chat, and also Iron, who joined the chat early on and had to leave to get some rest. We appreciate the chat there, guys. Thank you. We will be back on Sunday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, where we will be continuing Metroid Prime. And who knows, maybe we'll finish that. I got a lot further than I expected on Tuesday. So we did end up getting the Ice Beam. And now it's like, I think I have to go into the Phazon Mines. Ugh. But yeah, it's going to call it for today. Once again, thank you to everybody for watching. Special thanks to Bane and Iron for joining the chat, keeping company. I always appreciate that. We're back on Sunday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time. And in the meantime, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day. And take care.